All right, welcome to the Hunt the Lion podcast. My name is Kerry Alderson. With me, as usual, Sean Randalls, Taylor Bars, Kelly Sparlin, and Tyler Alexander. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Excellent.
Good.
Feeling it.
Yeah. So downstairs from where we produce this podcast, somebody is baking some bread. And it is going to be really hard for me to focus this morning. I'm just going to say it right now. So if you can smell it through your speakers, we have one person here who's used to this kind of smell, Tyler Alexander, obviously the support behind the genius that is Alexander Sourdough Breads.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, the tester. So we are coming up on Thanksgiving. So we're going to talk about some Thanksgiving stuff, and we're also going to talk about some things that are going on in the world right now and how we as men and dads, being those that are following Jesus and trusting God's word for our lives, how we should think about and respond to some of those things. And man, it seems like there are spicy topics in the world right now, and we'll get to some of them. We're going to talk about some of the stuff going on, SNAP benefits, homeless, Islam. Yep, those are some big ones right now. But first, let's get to the really, really important stuff, right? I got to ask, what is your favorite side dish for Thanksgiving? Favorite side dish for Thanksgiving, all right?
That is a no-brainer.
No-brainer? Okay.
Rolls for me.
Whoa.
Use
Okay.
the bread that's cooking down
the
there.
rolls are good, yeah. But I feel like you can have rolls like anytime. Is there one in particular Thanksgiving side that you only get usually around Thanksgiving?
Stovetop stuffing.
Stovetop. Not like homemade.
No. Don't make it from scratch. That stuff's crap.
Thank you. Thank you. So we had an early Thanksgiving dinner with family last night, and she was apologizing for making stovetop, and I'm like, no, thank you. No offense, but this is a billion times better than anything else.
It's a very polarizing topic, but I will fight anyone. Stovetop stuffing is the best.
I knew you were my guy, Taylor. I knew you were my guy.
That's awesome.
There are not many things that come in a box that are better than homemade. Stovetop is the thing.
I also love Hamburger Helper too.
Okay.
Yeah, well, now you lost
You
us.
should have just quit while you were ahead, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
For me,
Yeah.
it's got to be green bean casserole.
Green
Just
bean
gonna
casserole.
say that.
Green bean casserole is pretty good. Pretty
Yeah,
good.
my grandma made a green bean casserole with bacon in it. They do it every year, but man, it's good. Whew. But I'm gonna probably say for me that takes the top is probably a sweet yam with brown sugar and marshmallow. Oh man, that's so good.
I'm on board with that. I'm not a stuffing fan, so I won't touch the stuffing.
Add sugar to it. Okay.
Or for me.
Yeah. I'm seeing this stuff online. Some people are saying, I don't know if this is like the corn industry trying to push this thing, but like the corn casserole stuff, that's got to be like more of a Southern thing. And I think they're trying to get some sort of propaganda across the rest of the nation, the corn industry.
That
because
sounds like Iowa.
My wife's she's been making that, and my mother-in-law that's like a corn casserole. They've been making that since I've been married to my wife, and she makes it all the time. Not even just yearly, just whenever she makes it, it's just really good.
not even in the top 10 side dishes. You got turkey, mashed potatoes and gravy, stovetop stuffing. The rolls, just like that's a no-brainer, of course. And then the green bean casserole. Yeah.
mac and cheese. Don't
Okay.
forget the mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese is good, but that's, I don't know. That's not Thanksgiving.
One thing I do, everyone gets mashed potatoes all the time, but my sister got the recipe from my grandmother when she died, and she makes my grandmother's mashed potatoes. Those are pretty amazing, so I
Okay.
would probably go that route.
And then dessert. What is the top dessert before we move on? Top dessert, Thanksgiving dessert.
My wife makes a pumpkin cheesecake every year that is just so good.
Okay. Pumpkin cheesecake. What do we got? Any pie flavor?
I just have to say that I'm not a pumpkin pie guy, so
Okay.
it's so funny. I am not a pumpkin pie guy. I never have been, and my people are like, "You're crazy." I'm like the only one that stands out that doesn't eat it. But then my mother-in-law, she doesn't eat the pumpkin pie either, and I'm like, "No way!" And she makes the best pies ever. So I'm a cheesecake or a cake or cupcake guy. I'm not a pie guy, and that's always been a running theme in our family.
Opposite for me. Way rather have pie than cake. So even if you load it up with Cool Whip, you're still not a pumpkin pie guy.
I can't. I've just never gotten into it.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. What do you say, Taylor?
No to all things pumpkin. I love pie. Pecan pie, cherry pie, apple pie. Oh, yeah. Cheesecake. I don't want pumpkin in them.
No
To
pumpkin.
all things pumpkin.
No pumpkin.
I
Okay.
No
took it as
pumpkin
a
spice lattes.
latte
The
guy.
PSLs are out. All right. There you go. Last one. Kelly, best dessert Thanksgiving.
I mean, pumpkin pie is where I'm going.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I don't know who these heathens are over here.
I don't like anything pumpkin. PSL, whatever they pumpkin spice latte, all that kind of stuff. No, but pumpkin pie is the one pumpkin thing out of the year. It's the one time and day.
I honestly get made fun of every year when I'm the guy that's like, I'm not eating pumpkin pie, and everybody's like, you're crazy. My wife's like, everybody's like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you're
Well-
about to get made fun of some more.
Apple pie.
Buckle up.
This is the most division
pie
we've
and
had
pumpkin
at this
pie.
table so
I
far.
know. I know. Okay, so let's move on. I'm glad we got a chance to laugh because we do have some spicy topics, like I said here on the docket this week. So you guys probably haven't noticed because you guys just go to work and do stuff. There are people that, not to be sarcastic, there are people that are affected by these things, but the government is on a shutdown as of right now. So hasn't affected us because we're all working and stuff still and don't really see that too much. One of the big things that I've heard a lot of debating online is the SNAP benefits and the concern about, people who are struggling, losing access to food and things like that. So, what is your guys' thoughts on the Christian response to that? Because this is one of those moments where you get people that don't really know the Bible very well and they say they don't even believe Christianity, but they want to cherry pick some different verses and really throw it in Christians' faces like we're not doing anything or we're not caring or there's no compassion. So just a general thought on all of that.
Well, I
SNAP
feel
benefits.
like we need to clarify something before we get into this.
Okay.
Oregon, the state of Oregon, nobody missed their benefits. Oregon actually got theirs pushed through. So I don't know exactly how it went when the government shutdown occurred. There was an appeal process and it opened for a couple days. Oregon pushed theirs through. So everyone in Oregon got their benefits.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there.
I think I did hear that. Yeah. I haven't, to be honest, I haven't followed it too closely on a local or state scale, but
I think it's a big opportunity for the church. I don't think we should have SNAP benefits because there's layers. If you're in need, the church does call us. The Bible calls us to provide for our community, people who are in need. So if you need food, come to the church, come to local charities, come to community. That's why we have community. If you exhaust all those options, then I guess that's where the government steps in. But in our current society, we've bypassed all those. We don't have community. We're not seeking out church and charity, and we're just skipping all that and going to the government, making this government's responsibility, which it's not.
Acts 2:42 says they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread and prayer. Everyone was filled with awe at the many wonders and signs performed by the apostles. A lot of people say this is the forming of the early church and community group and home group type things. Verse 44 says all the believers were together, had everything in common. Verse 45, they sold property and possessions to give to anyone who had need. Every day they continued to meet together in the temple courts. They broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of all the people. And the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved. So, you're not wrong. You're referring to Acts chapter 2. Taylor?
Well, I think I agree with Tyler that it should be individuals that are taking care of people.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that if you're able-bodied, you should be working. I think that, yeah, it's not convenient. Yeah, it's not this or that, but nobody has any self-respect that is just given anything. And so I think if you're an able-bodied person, you should work. I think that if you're genuinely seeking help, I think there's lots of opportunities for people to get help. I think that if you're also addicted to substances and perpetually doing that, then it makes it hard to work and have a job and do those things. So, and I understand there's also people that have very little and have very little opportunities, and yeah, we should take care of those people. We should help them whenever we can, if God's blessed you with a lot, like there's plenty of opportunities to help people. And it's a very hard, complex, giant thing that I definitely don't have all the answers to, but I think that in general, able-bodied people should work. People should love on each other, help people.
Yeah. I don't know if it's as hard and as complex as we want to make it. I think a lot of what you and Tyler just said, I think you guys are both really practical and like logical people. And I think you could probably come up with a better system than what we have right now, because you're both talking with compassion, but with also truth and honesty. 2 Thessalonians 3:10. You guys know the verse I'm going to talk about. If you're not willing to work, Tyler's got it, then you don't eat. Let him who is not willing to work, let him not eat. So, Kelly?
There is some complexity to this issue. Like, I feel, first of all, that we need to learn from this time. If you are relying on someone else, like the government, and then all of a sudden the government shuts down, even though it had nothing to do with you, when it wasn't intentional, look at the effect that it's having, right? So should I really be relying on people other than myself to feed my kids and my family? And now, what if this was intentional? What if the government could just stop paying you and stop feeding you? Like, you can cry all you want, but you're not getting food, right? At what point do you take accountability and responsibility for your own family? And there are obviously people out there who need this, right? Like, this is not a blanket statement.
Of course.
But at some point, the majority of the people, I wouldn't say the majority, a lot of the people are going to have to realize that I need to start taking responsibility for my own family and doing this on my own so that I'm not relying on other people. However, I do, for instance, a couple of our instructors are in the military, right? And the military is not getting paid either, but they're having to show up to work and do their thing, and they're still not getting paid. They are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're still not getting paid.
Yes.
So, there is definitely, that's why I say this is not a blanket thing, right? There's definitely a lot to this, but I feel like at some point you got to do what you got to do to feed your kids.
Totally. Yep.
And there's some interesting statistics on this I listened to recently. Families that receive federal food benefits, on average, spend more money on their monthly food budget than families that don't. Because when it's not your money, you're careless on how you spend it. You can buy Skittles and Coca-Cola, and all those things qualify for federal food benefits. And if I am not getting my funds from the government, I'm getting my funds from Taylor. He gives me, I'm like, hey, Taylor, I'm in hard times. Whatever happened, I need $40 for groceries this month. And he gives me $40. Then he sees me at the store loading up on Skittles and Coca-Cola. He's going to probably be like, hey, that's what your family needs to survive this month? And there's going to be some accountability there.
Absolutely. Great example.
Yeah.
Sean, did you have something to add?
We've all been in the line at the store, and you see the person swiping the EBT card for sodas and all kinds of stuff. But this past weekend, my wife and I were up in Portland, and that's where we met, and that's kind of where we started. And I started my walk with the Lord up there, and we had nothing back then. And we even said, she's like, man, why didn't we apply for food stamps? I was like, I don't know. And she's like, well, we weren't raised that way, she said. So probably we didn't see that a lot growing up. So we never saw that. So when we were both at our bottom and I was coming up out of the world, my walk with Christ, we had zero. I did. And then I met her. She was working a job, and then I got 2 jobs, and then she was working 2 jobs. So at first I was pumping gas, and I was working at a Volvo auto shop mopping the floors. I didn't know anything about cars, but this guy gave me a job. I told him I would just clean the floors and maybe change the oil. And I pumped gas. So I was working 2 jobs, and so was Amy when we both met. And we barely had any money. So I was so like you're saying, exactly like you're saying, Tyler. I was so like just. It was so easy for me to save my money, like not spend it. Like I'm not going to go buy Dairy Queen tonight. Like I barely had any money, so when I would go to get food, like I could barely even afford the food. So I got 2 jobs to try to start saving money and building stuff. We were like, why didn't we just go and get food stamps? I was like, I don't know, actually, honestly, because my brother's been on food stamps for all these years, and he still has them, and he's the most careless eater I've ever seen. Like, dude, you could seriously have all this food in your house, be cooking, prepping meals for work all week, but he goes to 7-Eleven and gets like a 44-ouncer for breakfast and a burrito from 7-Eleven. You're like, that's crazy. You could be buying bread, peanut butter, all kinds of stuff you're making with your food stamps, but instead you're buying 7-Eleven food every morning. To me, I just don't get it. I don't understand it, but my grandma's been disabled her whole life since she was 11 years old. Now, there's somebody definitely who should have benefits like that because she's been disabled since she was 11, so there's definitely a fine line here who we're talking about, but I've been on the side of if you can work, dude, go get 2 jobs, and then you'll see like, hey, I'm going to savor my little money that I do have, and I'm not going to waste it.
Here's a verse that Christian men need to know. 1 Timothy 5:8. It haunts me sometimes. It motivates me. If anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Some translations say anyone who does not provide for his family and his family's family has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. My family's family is my wife, my kids, my wife's family, my kids' families, my family, siblings. That's a very long network of people. So if I'm a man and I can work and I claim to be a believer in Jesus Christ and a follower of Jesus Christ, the Bible says if I'm not providing for those people, I'm actually not a believer. I'm actually not following Jesus.
You know, Proverbs 13:4, the soul of the sluggard desires and has nothing, but the soul of the diligent should be made fat. Right? So just sitting there and wishing for it means you have nothing. You got to be diligent and go get it.
And we all agree, like you guys have all said, there are certain instances and circumstances. You talk about, elderly or whatever it might be, or, a widow, and she's working 2 jobs. And, okay, obviously those are different situations. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about able-bodied men that are not working and they're taking advantage of the system. So,
but even the widow, my point is it shouldn't be the federal government. I feel strongly if she comes to Edgewater, if a widow comes here, like on Wednesday nights when we provide dinner to people, and is raising kids by herself and struggling and goes, I need help for groceries, I know she will receive help here.
Yep.
I have no doubt in that.
Yeah, so not everybody knows how we do that here at Edgewater, but we have a percentage of the church body that tithes. Percentages goes to what's called the benevolence, where it's just giving to help support the community, and people don't have any clue the thousands of dollars that have been given away in the community to people outside of Edgewater. Just like that's one of the really cool blessings of working here is getting to see all of that stuff. But so how it works is if a woman comes in and she's like, yeah, my husband and I, like, we're needing help or whatever, we're always like, well, where's your husband? Well, he's at home right now. Bring him in. We're not meeting with just you. We're meeting with both of you. And the husband then is given the opportunity to, it's still benevolent, like we're very generous, but you got to feel like you've done something. Like we'll have them pull weeds or work with the grounds crew or the maintenance crew or whatever it is, and give them a fair, generous wage for the day or the hours or whatever that they worked. If it's a single mom who comes in, sometimes the situation might call for that. Other times it's a benevolence of trying to help. There's a lot of nonprofits in our community that are non-faith-based that have millions of dollars in grants. And they make the process, to me, way more complicated, and it's really, really frustrating. They'll send people to us. But I'm just like, all right, God, we're going to share the gospel with these people. They're going to see what love and acceptance looks like. And this is all yours anyway. You gave us these funds and resources. We're going to give them back to people. So that's a little bit how that works here at Edgewater. Kelly, did you have something?
I had a question.
Uh-huh.
When you see people that rely on others with that are able, the people we're talking about, people who are able-bodied that just don't for whatever reason. I wonder the percentage, like how much does that reflect the rest of their life in other areas, right? Like they're just lazy in faith. They're lazy in how they treat their parents. They're lazy in their families. They're lazy in everything they do, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I wonder, like, the true percentage of people who are in need of that assistance that are actually genuinely working but just need a little more versus people who are just expecting handouts and are lazy in all aspects of their life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'd be curious what the percentage is too. And there are those in that situation that you're right. They are just lazy. They don't care. They know what they need to do. They know the truth. They have opportunities and they just avoid to do it in their selfish will. There are other people, I think, like if you heard the teaching this morning with Pastor Matt and just talking about like learning from other people because his dad bailed. There are some people where it's like, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. Like you guys have probably all met a guy that is just like, dude, I've been working so hard. And this is like crazy. I'm just like beat, blah, blah. And you ask them what they did and you're like, bro, what? Like that? Yeah, you thought that was work? Okay. But it's like they don't have anything to draw off. No experience, didn't have a dad pouring into them. So we all are compassionate with those situations. So, Sean, do you have something to add?
Oh, just last thing on that. As a young guy growing up in the street life, I saw guys, literally drug dealers and druggie guys, trading their EBT cards for drugs. I would see it quite often. You probably did, Tyler, as being in law enforcement. Maybe you saw some of that, but I saw it firsthand from druggies. Everybody had a food card, and they would say, "Hey, here's $200 or $300 on my food card. I will trade you that for some dope." And it happens all the time. So I think that's what maybe they're trying to prevent out there is like, hey, the dopers that are just getting the free food here and trading it for drugs. I mean, that's what we're trying to stop here. So I saw it firsthand, so I know exactly what that's like out there.
The most egregious one I ever saw was people would buy the packs, like the 32 packs of water bottles from Fred Meyer, and the whole thing would cost you less than you could get back 10 cents per bottle. And so they'd be standing in front of the machines, dumping them out, recycling them, and they would do that to convert their EBT funds into cash so they could buy drugs.
So frustrating. Sometimes Christians from the secular world will get a bad rap, and people, like I said, that don't know the Bible, don't know the scriptures, they will cherry pick different verses and try to shame and guilt Christians and stuff. And I think what they miss is something that we understand on a larger scale, and it's in Mark chapter 2. And I try to remind myself of this story. It says in Mark chapter 2, Jesus is preaching to the crowds. It said, many were gathered together, and there was no more room, not even at the door. And he was preaching the word to them. And they came bringing to him a paralytic carried by 4 men. And when they could not get near him because of the crowd, they removed the roof above. And when they had made an opening, they let down the bed on which the paralytic lay. And when Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, "Son, your sins are forgiven." Now some of the scribes were sitting there questioning in their hearts, "Why does this man speak like that? He is blaspheming. Who can forgive sins but God alone?" And immediately Jesus, perceiving in his spirit that they were thus questioning with themselves, he said to them, "Why do you question these things in your hearts? Which is easier to say to the paralytic, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Rise up, take up your bed and walk'? But that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." So the big dispute here in this is the authority of Jesus to be able to do that, and him putting himself on par with God. But one of the things that I like to remind people of, like continually in these circumstances, is that Jesus is far less concerned with the condition of the circumstances around us than he is with the condition of our heart. He's like, yeah, I can heal you. That's great. Okay. But you know what you really need? You need a new heart, and I can forgive your sins, and I can change that. I can set you free from that. I can give you a whole new redeemed life. And so when we see homeless people or we see hungry people, I think all of us knowing this story know that they need Jesus, because when that happens, those things around them start to change. The food, the shelter, the working, caring for other people, thinking about other people, not being a victim, not just being able to overcome so many things, because you realize my heart is the thing that was off, not the things around me. And so carry that one with you. Mark chapter 2. These guys go through all this work to lower their friend down just to get his physical body healed. And Jesus is like, okay, yeah, all right, I can do that. Is that impressive to you guys? You want to know what's more impressive? I can give you a new heart. That's what we want for homeless. That's what we want for those that are hungry, those that are addicted. That's what we want. We want them to have a new heart.
Yeah, we can feed you on Wednesday, but
Physical food.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
but
spiritual food is going to go a whole lot farther.
yeah, because if you can change the mentality of say it's their dad, right? Where it's like, hey, this is your job. This is who you're made to be. This is why you should do what you're doing. This you should, like, it's more important to love and support your family than it is to get high or do whatever.
Absolutely.
And that's why I think it's so important for us as men to teach our sons and our daughters, like, the importance of working and the importance of taking care of yourself or other people. Because I remember when I was in college, I had no money. My monthly food budget was about $3 a day, $3.33 to be exact.
Relatable.
But it was so good to have struggled. But then also, like, my roommate at the time asked me, why don't you just sign up for food stamps? And it was just like, that was never even an option, because, like, my dad, like, we didn't do that. We just worked harder. And in a way, that's the best thing, because what is most important to learn is how to solve problems.
Yes.
Not rely on somebody else to solve your problems. Like you're talking about, Kelly, like, well, if the government solves your problem every time you need to eat, then you're training yourself to only go to the government to solve your problem, which we should figure out how to solve problems like that on our own and teach our kids how to solve problems, because people like that can survive a lot of things if they can think critically and solve problems.
It's like I tell myself this all the time, and I tell other guys, no one's coming to save you. Jesus came one time. That was the one person that came to save you. Better figure it out.
Well, I feel like you just answered your own. You said, my dad, when we grew up, we've solved our own. So biblical leadership, right? Men's leadership. That's what it comes down to us. Teaching. That's awesome.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on homeless and hungry and SNAP benefits? We good on there? We just figured it all out. So share this with people who have questions. We answered them all.
Better send it to Trump.
Yeah, that problem. Check.
Oregon governor. What's her name? Kotek. All right. So interesting. Do you guys see who knew the new mayor of New York City is?
Mamdani.
Communist.
Yeah. Zoran Mamdani. So, any idea what the percentage of Muslims is in the United States? Do you guys know?
I don't know numbers.
Yeah.
I think it's not crazy high. Less than 10%.
It's growing, but it's only 1%. But at one point, London was only 1%. And now they're at like, oh man, I might be wrong on this. Somebody could fact check me, but I want to say between 5 and 10%. And instituting, the daily call to prayer, this 5 a.m, all this stuff. All the while, there's old ladies praying outside abortion clinics in London, not even out loud. Standing, I don't know if you guys seen the video of this. Older lady standing outside of an abortion clinic praying, and a London police officer comes up to her and says, "Ma'am, what are you doing?" And she said, And he goes, "You're not allowed to do that." She's like, "I'm not even saying anything." He's like, "You're not allowed to pray out here." That's wild. But yet the Muslim call to prayer at 5 or whatever in the morning is allowed. London has a Muslim mayor, and now New York City does. So what is the Christian response, or is there any response or concern or anything regarding how Europe has invited this, and then now we have this in New York City. What do you guys think?
I think they give us an opportunity again to learn. Because what are they doing? Why is it spreading? Well, the men of Muslim faith are very outspoken about their faith, very pro their community, and they push it. And that's at Game Changers. That's what we're trying to get Christian men to do: is to not sit by quietly, to not be passive, but to be leading their families in a Christian walk, to be out there in the community, pushing the faith and doing works and being proactive. So if that seems to work, if you have men being proactive for your faith.
They are bold and unapologetic.
100%.
This is what we believe. We don't care what you think. This is it. And people are like, yeah, okay. It's wild. I don't know, because you will get a lot of kickback as a Christian, but do you just keep moving forward and let that die down? Or I don't know. What do you think, Kelly? 1%, is that something to be concerned about? New York City
Absolutely.
having a mayor? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The depth. Okay. Well, I don't know where do you start addressing this topic, because you are correct. Some of the most, I don't want to say zealots, but some of the most like firm believers I've ever met in my life were Muslim men.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and like devout Muslims,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't mean like they weren't jihadists or anything. They were Muslim men that just lived their faith, and it showed. And it's kind of inspiring, to watch that happen and to see the effect they have on the people around them.
Yeah.
Even if I don't believe what they are saying is correct or accurate, the conviction that they live is inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
However, space, what we have seen, if we use Europe, if we use France and England as our litmus test, right? What has happened to the countries where Islam comes in like a wave? What happens? And it's every time. This isn't like a one-off thing, right? It happened all the Middle East countries. France, it's happening. England, it's happening, right? The only country I've heard of that is not happening is Poland, because they have a strict immigration policy against it.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is a lot of Muslim men that are very outspoken straight up tell you that their job is to overrun your country and breed you out.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's in
They're
documented.
They're not hiding it.
No.
Yeah.
And we're just like, oh, tolerance.
Uh-huh.
Oh, tolerance.
Uh-huh.
That's anyway. This topic is way more deep, but I feel like
You say that about every topic that I bring up. So I bring up deep
that's
topics.
fair. You do.
I bring up deep topics.
You
That's
do.
good.
I just wish we had more time to dive in.
We do. Well, then let's do it off air.
Okay. But
I'm going to give out your cell phone number one of these days so they can call you and talk more about it. The Kelly hotline.
The mayor thing though in New York, that could be pivotal.
Yeah.
That could be a big thing.
So there was a conservative Christian talk show host who was openly saying something that I was saying, not out loud though. I hope he gets elected. I don't live there. I hope he gets elected. And I hope people see what the result of that is, and it stops there. I hope there's a trial run. People see what happens when you have a communist. One of the funniest things happened the night he got elected. People came to the celebration party. They were charged at the door, and they were charged $13 for a beer. And they were like, we thought all this was going to be free. And they were mad at him for charging.
That's awesome.
He's like, free buses, free this, free this. They go to the victory party and $13 for a beer. Welcome to capitalism, son. Like, what? So, Taylor, you have some thoughts?
Oh, nothing is free.
Nothing is free. That's right.
Somebody has to pay.
Yeah.
So the idea of communism is great,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't work
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of things in life that are theoretically nice and practically, pragmatically, they don't work with human beings. So it's nice to think about getting everything for free. But what if you got everything you wanted? What if everything you hope for and wish for, you got tomorrow? Then what?
Yep.
What is the purpose of your life? Why are you here? All those things. Like, because just getting stuff for free, that doesn't do anything for you other than maybe make your life easier financially in that exact moment. But guess what? Tomorrow, what do you do? Like, people, it's just like such a short-term mindset. It's like, oh, well, this is all free. Okay. But that doesn't, it's impossible for everything to be free other than the free grace that Jesus gave us.
Amen.
That is the only thing that is free for us to accept. You know, other than that, like food, like somebody's got to grow the food. Somebody's going to buy the food.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to process the food. Somebody's got to deliver the food. Like, that all costs money. That all costs somebody something.
Yeah.
If somebody gives you something, it costs them work and time and everything else.
Yep. I need to create some show notes for us and put some links in there, because if you look at the studies of people that just have a windfall of financial lottery, celebrityism, whatever it might be, like across the board, like higher depression, suicide, all that stuff, because like you're saying, like you lose this drive and this purpose. I mean, you've seen the studies with the rats. It's like they give them an opportunity, just whatever the dopamine hit is, and they literally like will go without food and just kill themselves, you know, because of the dopamine hit. And really, I mean, that's kind of what it boils back down to, honestly. So, Sean, did you have anything to add on that?
Oh, no, I was just kind of watching that Mom Donnie get elected and reading what they were saying, and it's really like he doesn't like Trump. He doesn't like anything about, he wants to just give everything for free, and he wants to help. And so I saw a bunch of like trans people wanting to move to New York now to be under his care. But he said this, this is not only how we stop Trump, it's how we stop the next one. So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up. That's what Mom Donnie said. Like turn it up, watch what I'm doing over here. And it's just like, it's just creating chaos. And I don't know.
So, trans people are not readily celebrated in Muslim countries. So that's a contradiction that's interesting. The easy political slogan for anybody in a blue state is Trump. We hate Trump. So, I mean, at some point, like, that's just, it runs out. Like, you're like, yeah, whatever. So, here's an interesting thing, though, to consider when you're talking about communism and socialism and all that stuff. A very honest question from, you guys know who Peter Thiel is? The CEO and founder of Palantir. They deal in like information systems, I think, and stuff. And he recently, I believe, became a Christian. They say because he's been exploring the Christian faith in the Silicon Valley, it's led to an explosion of other people and Christians in that world in a way that they never thought possible. I don't know necessarily like what he really believes about the Christian faith or not, but he did have an interesting comment this week, something to the effect of, we all know the colossal failure that communism and socialism have been throughout the world, but if the current leaders in our country don't figure out a way to get the economy better for those living under the age of 30, capitalism isn't going to look so great either. Communism and socialism will look really good, and we know that they're not the answer. So we do need to figure out a way to get the economy in a way where a 30-year-old who has a job and a family can afford to buy a home. Highest level of age for a first-time home buyer, I think Taylor probably knows this better than I do, in decades now. This just a couple weeks ago, they said age 40 is the average age in 2025 of a first-time home buyer. That's not good for our country and for young families who are trying to stay together and be able to afford things. So while we know communism, socialism are not the answer, we do need to get our country on track, or you will lose this next generation. So that's I'm glad there are people that are not afraid to say that. That's true. You know, we can't just be like, oh yeah, like everything's great. No, it's actually not, you know?
Well, I also think too, if you're going to buy a house, you can't buy everything else.
Yes.
You can almost tell if somebody's renting versus not by how nice their car is.
Uh-huh.
The people with the less nice cars, they own houses.
Yeah.
You can't have a normal job, pay $800 to $1,100 for a car and buy a house.
Yeah.
You have to make sacrifices for it.
Yeah.
And our society will tell you that you need this, you need that, you need the newest, latest, greatest fashion, this, that, and the other. Yeah, you'll never be able to buy a house and do that with a normal job.
Yeah. Yeah.
But where do you want to invest your time and money? Do you want to invest in something that's going to be worth nothing in 10 years or invest into something that will grow in value?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe forever, not forever, but
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to sacrifice for it.
Bringing it back to a biblical perspective for Christian leaders, it's a constant evaluation of what am I pursuing right now? Am I pursuing easy, free things, and that's the way I'm going to vote and think about government? Or am I pursuing holy, righteous, lasting things where my identity is not caught up in the things that I have in impressing people around me, but it's to impress God by living a holy, righteous life. So that's the direction that godly leaders and dads need to be leading their families and communities.
Yeah, because what does that represent? Like when you buy a house, when you save your money and sacrifice so that your family can be safe. So there's not going to be this unpredictability of somebody selling your house or all those things. Because video I watched recently where it talks about that the family's purpose is to pass the word of God through generation to generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're pursuing things that help that in having a safe place that's where you can raise a family, like all those things are super good and super healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you're investing your time and resources into something like that, it is good. And it's usually not about you.
Yeah. So we did what a lot of people said was one of the dumbest things that somebody could do. We, in youth ministry, long story short, my wife was meeting with some girls and they were talking about trap houses around Grants Pass and how teenage girls were being taken advantage of. They were going there, many willingly, and then things were happening that they were regretting, and it was breaking our hearts. And we're like, okay, we can't go busting down doors. We're not Kelly Sparlin RPG and just go in and grab all the bad guys and take them to jail. But what can we do? We can be a light in a dark place. So we started looking for a house around there, and pastor, single income, 3 kids. We're like, oh man, the kind of space that we want where we can bring teenagers in here, whether they're Christians or not, is out of our range right now. So we started talking with some people and we were like, well, this is kind of crazy, but cashed out my purse from when I was teaching so that we could get the house that we wanted with the space. People were like, you're never going to be able to get that back. It wasn't huge, but it was enough to help us. You're not going to be able to get that back. You have to pay taxes on it, all this stuff. And we're like, yeah. And they're like, oh, are you sure you still want to do it? Yeah, I think so. Well, you're going to have to do this. Yeah, I think we still want to do it. And we did it, and it was crazy, and maybe it was a bad financial decision. I don't know. Whatever. I don't care. I really don't care. The amount of kids, when I have a kid last year texting me from LA and saying, we came to your house for Taco Tuesday on Tuesdays for the free tacos, and we got to be around the church community, and watching those people changed my life, and I'm following the Lord now, and I've found a church in LA. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm not emotional very often. That kind of thing, like, gets me. I'm like, okay, Lord, it's all yours. That's why we did it. We took our resources that you gave us. It's all yours anyway. And we just used it to bless the people around us, And I'm not telling that story to, like, I didn't plan on sharing that, but like, I'm thinking as you're talking about buying, like, let's invest in the kingdom, And the world will think it's stupid. That is dumb. Yeah, I know. You're right. But I've been radicalized. I have been radicalized. Jesus has radicalized me. I'll admit it. I'll go on record. I've been radicalized, and I've been blessed for it.
I could not agree with you more, because since my walk, the way I view retirement used to be so important to me, and it is the most backwards thing to me now.
Yes.
The idea is to work hard and invest so you can live a life of luxury and excess and not do anything for 10 to 20 years.
Yes.
Where does it tell us to do that in the Bible? And how does that grow God's kingdom? How does me sitting on a beach in Hawaii, sipping Mai Tais, grow God's kingdom?
Yep.
It does not do it.
Yep.
Depends on who's on the beach.
I guess maybe.
If you're hanging out with us, it's worth. No, I'm just kidding.
So just
No, you're right. Yeah. 100%. I've never been like Perry Atkinson, the dove from the CEO, spoke at Game Changers about a year ago. He's like, I just want to burn myself out in service to others. And I'm like, okay, I don't feel so bad about it. Like, that's what I'm trying to do. So,
Some people actually, like, that's their calling, right? Is servitude.
yeah. Yep.
You got to figure out what currency is most important in your life, like Luke said.
Amen.
Like, is it strictly financial? Is your whole life based on the financial currency, or is it the currency of relationships and love and all those things? And you just have to figure out what's most important and make your decisions based on that.
That's right. Amen. All right, gentlemen. I hope you guys learn to like some pumpkin pie like Kelly and I.
Let's go.
I know. Thanksgiving month.
Excited.
If you're listening and you have not made plans yet, join Edgewater Wednesday night, Thanksgiving week, November 26th, family night. Bring the kids in the sanctuary. It'll be a time of celebration. And then I don't even know if you guys know this yet, but Austin Hanson and my son Owen Alderson, two Game Changers, have said Game Changers is going to be responsible for the Edgewater Turkey Bowl this year. So Thursday morning, Turkey Bowl, 8:30. Get registered online on the Edgewater website. That way we can put something together and organize some teams and stuff. So Kelly, you got to get your boys out there. I know Taylor will come out and sling it a little bit. So Tyler will accidentally knock a couple kids over trying to grab their flags. So thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everybody listening. God bless you. Have a great week. In the meantime, hunt the lion.